Hey guys, it's Andrew from More From the Internet. So today I want to tell you how I tried dropshipping and literally ended up becoming a millionaire, but I had to stick with it. It wasn't always just like sunshine and rainbows. Let me give you the rundown on how I found out what this thing dropshipping even was and kind of how I figured out how to make it work as well. Because I think you might see a lot of people on the internet talk about how you can make money online and you can do this and you put in $2, you're magically going to get rich 30 days later. It doesn't actually work like that, but it is a real thing depending on like who you're talking to and what the business model is. But first and foremost, I do just want to let you know if it's any business model, whether it be drop shipping or something else, it's simply the business model that is the actual thing that's going to get you to the money, the skill set of operating the business model. You can decide on whether or not you want to try everything in the world, but think about it this way. If you try every single business model one time, you just give it a shot, it doesn't work out, then you move on to the next business model. None of them are going to work because like you're literally kind of expecting your first try to work. And if it doesn't work on a first attempt, you don't try and learn from your mistakes. You don't try and make it better and go again. That doesn't make any sense. You're going to try 7 different business models. All 7 attempts are going to fail because they're all first tries. Where if you made 7 attempts on the same thing, it would have started working by attempt number 3 or 4, simply because every time you fail or you make a mistake or you do something wrong and it doesn't work, instead of blaming the business model, honestly, like you got to blame yourself. I notice a lot of the people in my circles or the people that I meet, the unlock is character. It's like character building on the journey of trying to get rich, you know? So for me, I became a millionaire when I was like 23. I'm 28 now. Now I do millions a year. I do about $100,000 a month in profit. And it's still through dropshipping. It's still through the business model. All it really is you're just selling stuff on the internet. You have a website. You put a product on the website. And then you make a video that sends people to your website and they buy it if they like the video and they like the product. You know, it's a pretty simple formula when you say it out loud like that, but yet implementing everything in between is a little bit more complicated and takes a few skills that you need to pick up along the way, right? A lot of people hear how simple it is and then they justify the fact that, okay, if I should give it 1 or 2 tries, and if it does or doesn't work, that's going to determine on whether or not I'm going to keep going with it. But no, you're going to fail in everything in life if you just decide you're going to try it once or twice, and if it fails, it's not going to work. And for you, no, you have to make things work. That's like the mindset of any successful person you ever talk to. You know what I mean? Opportunities are something that they are there, and you have to take them and make them. You take the opportunities or you make the opportunities. Those are like the only 2 options, right? They either already exist or you need to create them. So usually on both sides of the spectrum and anything that you're trying to do, especially with drop shipping, there are multiple ways to go around any problems that you might have, right? So long story short, drop shipping might seem complicated to some of the people getting into it if you know what it is, simply because it's like, you know, you come in, you need to put a product on a website, right? But you might be thinking, oh, I don't know how to find a product or put the product on a website in general. But all you need is a couple pieces of knowledge. And then once you get those pieces of knowledge, you'll understand like, oh, there's a website that's kind of like Amazon, except it's connected to Chinese suppliers. You can click one button and it puts that product on your website. Oh, how do you build the website? Oh, well, there's another website that, you know, lets you create your own website, and you click like 3 or 4 buttons and AI will create the whole website for you, et cetera, right? But you need pieces of information along this journey. Otherwise, like the whole thing will seem way more daunting than it is. You know what I mean? So on this journey, I had to go through all of those milestones that I just walked you through, right? Where I don't have the information, but I'm trying to get to my goal. I'm trying to get rich. I'm trying to never work again. You know, after I made my first few dollars, like if you heard in the last video, I told myself I'm never going to try and work again in my life. I never want to work for the man. I never want to make another man rich. If someone else can do it, so can I, right? If they could grab the resources, regardless of their situation, and make it work, then so can I. In the beginning, though, it seemed like there was some mystery, like there was some secret to business or to trying to get rich or to like figure out what it was that I was going to do and how I was going to do it properly. But in reality, in the things that I was already doing, I just wasn't putting in enough effort, man. Like I would start running ads or I'd make a website and I'd try to get people to buy from the website. and maybe people wouldn't be buying. And I'm questioning, is the business model the problem or is it the product? But in reality, I made a trash website. I didn't put enough effort into it. I didn't put enough time, you know. Nowadays, I know exactly what the bar is, so I can cut straight to the point, you know. I already know what the websites need to look like, or what the video ads or the image ads need to look like. I already know what type of products need to be sold, because I know what type of things people like to buy and why they buy them now. But on the journey, I had to just make a lot of mistakes and find that out the hard way, right? You try and sell everything in every possible way, and you find out the ways that people don't buy, and that leads you to the answers, you know? So if you're trying to do anything, any type of business model, just know that most of it is just like these games that I'm showing you. This game right here, Mortal Shell 2, just came out. Great game, by the way. If you're wondering why it's like cut out a little bit, it's because I play on an ultra wide monitor. I have the 50-inch or whatever it is, 50-inch curved ultra wide OLED monitor. It's like a 5K super wide. Anyways, it's not 16:9. It doesn't fit properly into like most YouTube videos. So I cut it down so that people can watch it and enjoy it regularly. And I res it down to 4K because I play in 5K, which is weird. It's crazy. Man, I used to play on like gaming laptops. I used to play CSGO, Counter-Strike on an old $200 to $300 laptop while I'm working on these businesses, you know. But yeah, back to the story. So I kind of lost where I was going, but I'm going to continue on because I know the main point of the story, right? The main thing is that I became a millionaire by the time I was 23, right? The first time, because the business that brought me to a millionaire status, I ended up making some more mistakes, and I had to refund a bunch of customers. And like, I remember I had customers receiving some products that they weren't supposed to receive. And I'm trying to be a good businessman, obviously. So I'm refunding the money and et cetera, et cetera. So I ended up losing a lot of money on that venture, right? So when I should have came out on top of that business, I ended up like being a couple $100,000 lighter than I should have been. And that's terrible, man. So I ended up having to build new dropshipping stores quickly. At this point, I'm getting good and I'm finding out what's doing well, right? So I'm going from like $0 to $2,000 or $3,000 or $4,000 a day within a matter of a week or two. You know what I mean? I know that at this point, I already understand, like, people don't buy products. They don't care about the product you sell them. They care about what it does for them. They care about the benefit that's going to happen, that they're going to see in front of their eyes, right? Like looking in the mirror, your skin is clear. That's what someone is paying for. That's the bottle of cream they're paying for. They don't care about your brand. They don't care about the magical substances that are inside of it. Do you get what I mean? So once I started understanding these things and then understanding how to communicate that instead of trying to sell someone something in some type of video, I'm just like, no, you're relaying only benefits that apply to them natively. We call it native ads. Okay. So it's like, if I'm trying to stop a woman's hair from falling out, and I want her to know that, but I want her to see it in a way that she sees it every single day. And then every time she sees this thing happen, she's reminded, like, oh, I need to solve this problem. What would that be? That would be a hairbrush with a lot of hair in it. Like, she brushes her hair, she takes it out, there's like 17 pieces of hair in it now. Every time she sees that, she would think, damn, am I losing my hair? You can catch her attention that way with an ad. You get what I mean? That's the first thing. And then you say, oh, if you have this, if this is what you see in the bathroom when you wake up after your morning routine, we have a solution for you. You get what I mean? You just need to cut straight to the point, right? Just like how in these videos, I cut straight to the point. In order for you to get there, you're going to need to reduce a lot of the character building that you've done previously, and then start rebuilding on top of that. I like to call it brainwashing yourself for success. So in one way, let's say you have a bunch of consumption, a bunch of like content that you consume, you can quite literally transform the content you consume into a format that hones you to be sharp, to be a businessman, or to build the character traits that you're currently lacking. You know what I mean? So for a while on my journey, and what made me a better businessman was, at the same time of me taking action and making a lot of mistakes and trying to figure things out, right? well, I mean, keep in mind, I didn't have a teacher. I had like no guidance. So I'm really just shooting in the dark. Nobody in my family can help me because we came up like broke. We came up pretty poor, right? So nobody has credit. Nobody has any financial literacy, anything. So I'm just trying to educate myself at the same time. The way I always looked at it is it's a mindset thing. So I just need to think properly. I need to think like the 1%. How can I do that? What do they do? What are the actions they take? What are the mental processes that they go through to solve problems? Not even they, just like, what would I do if that was me in the future? And I constantly compare myself to the best version of myself in the future. So constantly, as I'm going through this journey, as I'm going through this business model with dropshipping, and I'm really trying to make it work, and I'm trying to get my way out so I can just have a business that's sustainable enough to just, I don't even want to, I honestly, I just want to be in Fiji and let the money come in. You know what I mean? And until I got to that point, I had to consume content and brainwash myself, remind myself, and teach myself all of the fluffy psychological self-help stuff that you see a lot of people talk trash about. You need that. There's a stage, there's a season of your life that you're going to need that, you know? So all things considered, that's why I'm doing this type of content, right? I still love playing video games. I still love having fun. I don't think that you need to go listen to the ones who are saying they have some ridiculous morning routine that made them successful. They cut everything out. They have a terrible, boring life because they have no enjoyment. All they do is just, they get their enjoyment from telling you how they have removed everything from, like, no, man. You can have the things that you like. I like to play games. I like to go outside. I like cars. I have almost 1,000 horsepower M5. You know what I mean? I bought my girl a nice little Tesla. I'm getting my dad a house, got my mom a house, etc., etc. In order to do these things, you need to enjoy the little things in life, right? So find a way. For instance, in these games where you see me fighting the same boss and I'm dying and I'm coming back and I'm fighting him again and I'm dying. You get what I mean? Until I come back and I beat his ass and then we move on and I get to continue along the journey, right? You need to build that resilience. So in an effort to brainwash myself for success, I understand that perseverance and commitment is the number one thing. It is the only thing, if we're being honest. Your circumstances do not matter when you are truly committed. It's a specific word I'm using, commitment, right? It's like, you ever seen a BMX or a Daredevil or anything? They're about to do the craziest thing. It's life or death sometimes, right? And then what's the word? Maybe you don't know, because I've been in this world a little bit in BMX and sports and stuff like that. The key word is commitment. You have to commit to the action you're about to take. Otherwise, the action is not going to go properly. If you're trying to do a backflip and you hesitate in the process of doing the jump, you're going to fall and you're going to hurt yourself. You have to fully commit. You have to full send. Otherwise, it won't even work to begin with. Okay? So this is one of my small ways of brainwashing myself for success, is reminding myself to stay committed, persevere, and maintain the struggle. Okay. Even when things get easy in life, I try to find like the next little thing. I'm not trying to self-sabotage, because I've learned my lesson from doing that already. I used to think that when things got too comfortable, I had to like ruin my life subconsciously. Like I had to make things hard again because, oh no, this is too juicy. Nah, bro. Once you start getting good and you start reaping the fruits of your labor, that's okay. You know, but at the same time, you need to, in order to maintain your edge and keep sharpening your sword, you have to challenge yourself. You have to stay, there has to be something that's abrasive against your life a little bit. And it's best if it's if you chose it yourself. You know, I'd rather struggle on something that I chose to struggle on than struggle on something that the man told me I need to do right now. I need to go clean the bathroom. No. Tell me how much work, like if some all powerful being came down and I'd ask him a question about, you know, success, and because we're on topic, right? Obviously I'd ask many questions, but we're keeping it on topic, right? I'd be like, how much work do I have to do so that I only have to answer to myself? And then, yeah, I feel like, you know, funny enough, I feel like the answer to that would be little voice in my head just popped up, and it's like, you already have that. You already have the ability to do that. It's just the decision that you need to make, to pick something, commit to it, and then just don't stop doing it until you get to the other side. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one.